Batman Arkham Asylum. Now this game I just finished a little while ago and I'm going to finally make a video on it. It is a very, very good game, especially if you're a Batman fan and a fan of the DC comics or just the DC movies or anything like that. It's a pretty good superhero video game. Now, out of the Arkham games made by Rocksteady, there is the trilogy, which includes Batman Arkham Asylum is the first one, Arkham City, which was the only game I played out of the trilogy, and then Arkham Knight, which I picked up a little while ago. And now I'm going to get into the trilogy, so you guys can expect videos on those other games coming soon as well. But Arkham Asylum was a very, very good game. I enjoyed it. It came out in 2009 originally, but this is the PS4 Return to Arkham version. So basically in the Return to Arkham PS4 version, it includes Arkham Asylum and then Arkham City. Just those two games because Arkham Knight was already on the PS4. So that's what this game is, the version that I was playing in this video. Now there is another Arkham game called Batman Arkham Origins, and that game was actually not developed by Rocksteady. So it was developed by, I believe, Warner Brother Games. You guys can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I know it wasn't the same developer as the Arkham trilogy. So Arkham Origins was the only other, I guess, Arkham game that I played, but I don't know if you really include it as a Arkham game when it's not made by the same developer, but that game was really, really good. I have it for the 360, and I really enjoyed it when I played it years ago, so maybe I'll have to go back and do a video on that game as well. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about Arkham Asylum. So it starts out that you're taking the Joker into Arkham Asylum, and you have him captured at the moment at the start of the game, but then Harley Quinn ends up releasing him, or Joker had a plan this whole time, working with Harley Quinn to then get himself released, and then he wreaks havoc on Arkham Asylum, releasing a whole bunch of other villains of Batman that you end up fighting later on. And no, it's a pretty good map and everything. You have different areas throughout Arkham Asylum to explore, but everything in this game, of course, as the name applies, takes place in Arkham Asylum. So I remember Arkham City, you end up actually going to the city, but in this game, you're trapped. You're trying to find Joker the whole time, and he's releasing a whole bunch of the villains, so you end up fighting against Scarecrow, Bane, Poison Ivy, and then Harley Quinn. But Harley Quinn's battle, she's kind of just controlling some enemies and controlling the, I guess, area that you're fighting on. But Scarecrow, you have a few instances where you take on Scarecrow, and this is the first one showing in the gameplay right now. And with these instances, they're 2D side-scrolling parts that you basically just have to avoid Scarecrow's gaze, otherwise you end up having to restart the whole thing. But 2D side-scrolling, you get through it, you shine the light in Scarecrow's face, and then you escape these nightmares that you end up getting engulfed in from Scarecrow. So that's the Scarecrow kind of boss sequences, I guess. But the rest of the boss fights are actual boss fights. These ones are just avoid Scarecrow's gaze and shine the light in his eyes to escape. Now I want to talk a little bit about the combat, because of course this game is the action fighting game, I guess you could say, action adventure game. And the combat's fairly simple, but it definitely is very, very good. I mean, it's nothing too complex. You have your attacking, which you can just punch your enemies, kick them and everything. And then you also have your gadgets as well, like the Batarang, for example, that you can throw at enemies to blind them, which you'll have to use when you face off against a lot of bosses, especially notably Bane and a few of the other, I guess, stronger enemies or little mini bosses you have throughout the game. They'll start to charge at you. You throw your Batarang at them to blind them, and then they end up running into the wall, and then you can attack them. But yeah, it's the boss fights, I guess, weren't anything crazy. Like Poison Ivy's boss fight was probably, I found, one of the more difficult boss fights, and but the rest of the boss fights, like Bane, wasn't too hard. Harley Quinn really wasn't that hard either. And then the final boss fight against Joker really wasn't that hard either. But yeah, basically, like it's just showing right now in the gameplay, you throw the Batarang when Bane begins to charge you, then you can start to do damage to him and take him down. Lots of the fights were just like that. Killer Croc, I guess, there was, I enjoyed the Killer Croc area. You had to be stealthy and avoid Killer Croc when you were in his sewers, I guess you could say. And yeah, the Killer Croc portion was pretty creative. That part I enjoyed, kind of the stealthy aspect of it. But yeah, the combat's fairly simple. It's not too crazy to grasp, and then whenever you see the little, I guess, notification on top of enemies' heads, then that's timing when you need to hit the counter button, and then you can counter their attack and hit them as well. And then when an enemy is down, you can just straight up take them down, knock them out, and it's fairly simple, but it just works. It's a good combat system. It's nothing crazy, and then you of course have your dodge by double tapping the X button. Then you can dodge and do a little roll away to dodge enemies, and it's just simple, but it works. I mean, a lot of these, it kind of reminds me of like a hack and slash type game. Like, it just, the gameplay and the controls and everything felt very, very familiar to a hack and slash type game. So that's a little bit how the gameplay is and everything when it comes to the combat. Now, there is a few collectibles to find throughout the game if you like to look for all those collectibles and hidden trophies or different things throughout the game. There's the Riddler trophies that you can find, and then there's also a bunch of the tapes as well, which give you a little bit of backstory on each character. So if you're into that kind of thing, it's kind of nice to hunt for those. I just kind of collected them as I played through. I didn't really go back or go purposely looking for anything. I just like to play games. I'm not a huge person into 100%ing or finding all the secrets and different things, unless if I'm really into a game, then I might. Like, I find Resident Evil series, that's one of the few series that I play that I am looking for all the secrets and extras, because it just adds a little bit to the story if you find some of the extras in the Resident Evil games typically. So I usually enjoy hunting for the extras in those games, but in this game I just played through, found a few Riddler trophies and some tapes as I was playing, and that was about it. Now, I did really enjoy a lot of the stealthy sequences. I mean, you're Batman, so you got to be stealthy and sneak up on enemies, and there was a lot of sequences where there was armed enemies, and you could use your bat vision to highlight them all in red and then sneak up on them, do silent takedowns and knock them out. I enjoyed those sequences. I like the stealthy aspect of the game, and all the areas where I had to be stealthy and avoid the enemies and sneak up behind them, I found a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. It made you feel like you actually were Batman, typically like in the comic books, where Batman, you know, he's a detective. So he's a stealthy detective who will take down enemies silently if he can. And it just really felt true to the comic books in that aspect. Now, as you play through the game, you will be able to upgrade your gadgets, and you will be able to upgrade Batman's abilities as well, which is very handy. So as you play through the game, you'll be able to do all these little upgrades, and it's just a little bit of an addition into the game. It's nothing crazy, but the upgrades portion of it gives you a little bit of freedom to pick your upgrades and choose how you want to create Batman and make him more powerful and make him kind of suited towards your gameplay style. So yeah, the upgrades are simple and basic. As you played through the game, you were able to upgrade certain things, and you'd unlock certain upgrades as you played through the game as well. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was a nice little bit of an upgrade system. Nothing crazy, nothing extensive or anything. That's the big thing with this game, is like the combat and everything was simple, but it all just worked. I mean, nothing was out of the ordinary crazy and made it feel like it was, you know, a hard game to pick up and play. It's really not a hard game to pick up and play. It's the combat and everything is simple and easy, and it just works, and it's not too complex. I find games that get a little too complex with the controls and combos and different things, like a lot of fighting games that get really complex with the combos and everything that you have to memorize and practice. That always gets a little bit exhausting, because then if you take a break from the games and come back to them, you forgot how to do a bunch of the combos or attacks, and then you feel like you can't take a break ever from them. That's how I always feel with basically most fighting games. I usually feel that way. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero just came out, and yeah, that's how I've been kind of feeling with that game. I really enjoyed it. I played through all the episode battles now, and I've done basically everything I can do in single player mode. And I really enjoy that game. Don't get me wrong, it's a great game. I love the Dragon Ball Budokai series and Budokai Tenkaichi series. But just as an example, if I take a break from playing those games, then I really suck when I get back to them because I forgot how to do a bunch of the combos and different things. And whereas this game, if I was to take a break, it would be super easy to get back into it because of the simple controls that just work. It's simple combat, but it works. It doesn't feel too complex or overwhelming, or feel like if you were to take some time away from the game that you would forget everything and that you wouldn't be able to play it and it would just be hard to get back into. No, everything in this game is very simple, and which I really appreciate. I appreciate games like that where it's just simple, good combat, simple, smooth controls. That's how this game was. I really enjoyed Batman Arkham Asylum. Now, definitely relatively soon, I'm going to be playing some Arkham City. Now, that game I haven't played in years, but I definitely want to play it relatively soon here on the PS4 Return to Arkham version, so you guys can expect a video on that game as well fairly soon. So we'll see if it lives up to my memories, because I remember really liking Arkham City when I was younger, and I just haven't played it in a very long time since it like came out. It would have been years ago since I last played it, so it'll be like playing a new game since it's been so long. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna do what I always do with these games. We're reaching the end of the gameplay here, the end of the game. So the battle against Titan Joker, honestly, mediocre final boss fight, not my favorite. It was very easy, and it wasn't anything crazy, but that was kind of, if I have one thing that really sticks out as something I didn't like about this game, was the final boss fight. I felt like it just could have been a little bit more complex and a little bit more difficult. It was very easy, and it didn't take very long for me to defeat Joker and finish the game. But anyways, the rest of the game, incredible. Just the final boss fight was kind of meh. It wasn't all that great, but that's about it. For the things that I didn't like everything else in this game was incredible. It just is a very good game. You know, if you guys are looking for a Batman game and you're a fan of Batman and you haven't played this game, I highly recommend you guys check it out. But I would recommend you either get the Arkham Collection. I think you can actually buy it just digitally on the PlayStation Store, so you guys could get it that way. Or you could see if you could find Return to Arkham used. It's like $10 to $15 kind of a thing. It's not very expensive, so that's a good way to play it as well. But anyways, I'll let the ending of Batman Arkham Asylum play out here. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. And if you did, leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one.
At the mercy of the rampaging inmates. Just 10 minutes ago, we received this taped message.
Greetings, Gotham. Joker here. Arkham is mine. Soon I'll unleash madness untold onto the streets of Gotham. But first, direct your eyes to the rooftops and witness the final destruction of your dear Dark Knight.
We've been circling the tower since the... Wait, there! Joker is making his move!
Showtime, Batman! Let's give the room something to talk about. Two freaks in a fight to the death. And for one night only, please welcome our special guest referee, come on! Change! Get crazy! It's the only way to beat me! You know you want to. Never. You wasted the antidote on yourself? Now that's funny! Hysterical! But you still spoil my fun, and for that, I'll paint Arkham with your blood. Back in a second. That's... Give him a kicking for me, boys. Look out! So, Mr. Referee, how was that round all you have? You're gonna bleed, man. It's so far up your ass. Is he okay? Mind your head, more helicopters? How exciting! This won't stop me! Come in, boys! Knock him about a bit! I've got a city. I think it's an unanimous decision. I am the greatest! Don't you agree? I'll give you something for the morning news, Gotham. Ow! What are you doing? I can take it. I can take anything you throw at me, Bats. You can't beat me. I'm actually going to win. Ready for the next round?
Always.
What?
I'll never let you win. Never.
Take some time. All super criminals are back in custody. Quite a mess in there. And the venom-enhanced inmates are returning to normal. Though for some, the process can be quite painful.
Dad, how are you doing?
I'll survive. See you tonight, Barbara. Shame about your car. Can I give you a ride?
Thanks, Jim, but I have one on the way.
Get some rest. You deserve it.
Second National Bank was just robbed by Harvey Dent, a.k.a.
Stay safe, Jim.
2 officers down. The suspect is fleeing in their patrol